guys, this is Christians in the Gritty. Life is hard.
And man, we've lived it.
We sure have. We are just two sisters doing our best to please God through it all.
And having fun doing it.
Woo!
Okay, so you praying for a stranger, right? And got me thinking more about it. Because I think God can fix us sometimes. And not even always a stranger, but just like anyone we come into contact with. Just to pray for them, with them in that moment. And that's what I was thinking. I always do that.
You know what? Maybe you were just supposed to say that to bring this girl's face to my mind. You know how I've been doing that? I walked by one the other day.
Okay.
And I shouldn't have. And I can still see her face looking at me. She didn't say anything to me. Because she didn't ask, hey, you want to do our thing? And so she didn't prompt it. Yeah, so she didn't prompt it. So I didn't go over to her. And then I walked away and was like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have said, hey, can I pray for you?
I did the same thing.
And I'm thinking that's a new lesson that God's teaching me. Is like, just because she didn't ask me for a donation doesn't mean that I shouldn't pray for her and tell her that. And I'm like, I can see her face.
I walked past a lady too.
Was it just recently?
Yeah.
Same lady. She looks so despairing too.
I don't know.
In my memory,
I don't know about.
Maybe it's her
I don't
being
think
like,
she looked like that.
Maybe it's just her in my memory being sad. Like, do you not care enough for me to pray? Like
these guys been talking about being prayed for.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the same thing.
No, I didn't think she did. She was just sitting there though, not talking. Maybe
she was standing for me and like looking at me. And I made eye contact and everything. Like, what was I thinking? I just walked away.
Yeah. And then I also always get like guilt. I'm like, I don't have money to donate to you.
I know. And that's why I always was like, well, I'll just tell them I'll pray for them.
It's like, just keep walking, tunnel vision, don't look.
Well, I did look and I thought she was going to say something to me, but she didn't. I don't know why. I just feel like sometimes I'm awkward and I don't know how to start conversations. But at the same time, like we get busy. And that's what I said. You have to put time in where you know you're not walking past people because you're busy. Yeah. You have to put leisure time almost in between.
Yeah.
To talk to that person in Walmart. Like, because I did that too recently. Because I knew I had to match up with you getting out at the checkout because I rode with you. Or whatever. We were meeting together to get that care package together. Yeah. And I walked past someone I knew, and he's like, I saw you. He called me out. He called me. He's like, I saw you saw me in Walmart. Like, next time, stop and say hi. I'm like, oh, I was trying to meet up with my sister and match up. And sorry. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I really didn't see you at the checkout. I promise I did not see you then. And he was just like, do better. And I'm like, but I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to live in guilt. He knows I know.
Yeah. Right.
It's just like, you can't do, when you put yourself like that, you're going to make decisions that are not good. Like, you need to be caring for people. That's very important as a Christian.
Well, you reminded me what my thought was earlier.
Okay.
It was, sometimes I feel like it's becoming easier to pray for other people, with other people, than your spouse or your kids.
Because it's intimate.
Yes.
It just is more intimate. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I feel that way too.
No, it's more intimate to pray with your family. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these other people, you're like, I might never see them again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like if they think I'm crazy for praying for them right now.
Well, and then we also have the servant heart. Like, let's serve others. And the people in our house are our people. So it's like, I feel like sometimes we don't think of it that way. Like, these are God's people in your house. So He gave you.
We need to serve them the same way.
We need to think of it. What were we just talking about? How overwhelmed we get and everything. And we really just need to think about how can we serve these people that God gave me.
Yeah. Sometimes, see, we get convictions right now.
Like right while on the spot. But it's true, and I think that that was kind of part of God building when the lady didn't say anything to me, he's like, even when they don't ask,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you get convicted
Mm-hmm.
for that. So it's like, okay, next time I'll do better. And it's okay. You don't always have to be perfect. Just let God keep growing you.
Yeah.
And when you mess up, try again. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going for God. It's just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of one of our Sunday school classes. I don't think you were in that one.
It's hard with
Okay.
William.
Yeah, but so you could help me remember. Okay, so it was something about, and I was going to say something in there, but there just wasn't a lot of time. Wasn't a lot of time.
Even
They were
Sunday
talking
school's
about being
timed.
perfect, though.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, God doesn't call us to be perfect.
Mm-mm.
Yes, He wants us to become perfected in Christ,
Yeah.
but that does not mean that we're perfect
Mm-mm.
humans.
No.
So when people are like, oh, I'm not worthy of God and His mercy and grace,
Like,
and
correct. None of us are.
right. So I can't become a Christian right now. Like, He doesn't want me.
Yeah.
Like, that's
he
not,
does.
that's
why you
such a
feel him
lie from the
calling you.
devil.
Yeah.
And it reminded me too of when Dad was gonna get baptized, and he kept telling us, I think he told you too, is like, or maybe Mom, but the point is, he was like, I have so much to work on before I can do that.
Oh,
no, you
no.
don't. We all have stuff to work on. We will never be perfect, ever.
Yeah, we'll always have something to work on.
Get baptized. If you're saved, get baptized.
Yeah, Jesus wants you to be baptized. He says, this is the way I want these things to be. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to be baptized.
Mhm.
So do it. And
Yeah.
that's just like being obedient in your faith is being baptized. So it's like if Jesus tells you to do it, do it. And then you're going to continually just try to, it's not that you're getting better. I'm getting more perfect. It's not that you're getting more perfect. It's that you're allowing yourself to follow under God's, like faith in God and, you know, the obedience and stuff. That's faith. Like we talked about, that is trusting God. So it's just trusting God and, you know, trying to go under His will and under, you're not trying to be Christ, even though you're trying to be Christ-like. I don't know.
Yeah, you can never be Christ.
You can't be perfect.
And you don't want to be. No, because our world would be a mess.
Well, think about it. If we didn't make any mistakes, how judgmental would we be to the people who are not Christians?
Mm-hmm.
And then we wouldn't be perfect all of a sudden because you're not supposed to judge.
Yeah.
Like,
and the perfection that we're striving for, we want to always be growing in the knowledge and wisdom of Christ in our own lives, and it's different for us all.
Yeah, because He could be convicted me of TV, but it's perfectly fine for Susie May to watch TV because she doesn't do it the same way I do. You know, it doesn't mean TV's bad. It just means, how are you using it? Are you using it as a work, like as it's the thing to fill you up? Are you using it like, is it superior to God? That's a lot of the things of what's convicting you is if you're making something more superior to God. So even like basketball games with your kids can be bad if you're making it superior to God. It's not a sin to go to a basketball game.
Right.
But that's why it's like, of course you're never going to be perfect. Like,
yeah. I just asked Riley today if she was okay with me missing a couple of her volleyball games so I can go to Bible study.
Oh, I'm so glad that I could be your, what is it called? The look on Christina's face, I wish you could see it. Yeah. No.
That's not the right
It's
word.
not conviction, it's the other way. Confirmation.
Yeah.
I could never think of words.
Okay. Yeah, because we
I was
kind of
being your
talked about this.
confirmation, but I wasn't thinking about that when I said it.
Okay. Yeah, because, seriously, I feel bad for not going, but I've missed Bible study so much.
I know, and I haven't been able to go. She hasn't been able to go on Wednesdays because she's a youth leader and they do Wednesdays. I haven't been going because William has not got to the point where he will do Awana, and I want my husband to go to the Wednesday nights because I mean he just really needs it. He struggles to, like I said, read the Bible on his own and understand, and he just needs those men in his life. Plus he's stuck here with us all day. Mm-hmm. And now that he's on disability,
which is new for him.
Yeah, and it's hard, and he gets bored. He literally, because I have things to do, so I'm not bored. I'm overwhelmed, and he's bored pacing the floors. And it's like, you need to go and take Dominic, because Dominic can do it. He's the 3-year-old. He can do the Awana. And so I'll stay home with William. And so getting back, I want to do it too. I think I'm going to do it. Go to the Tuesday night one. Tuesday.
I'm so excited, and I'm so thankful for Karen because I need it.
Yeah, she's so sweet.
Yeah. Hi, Karen. I hope you're listening. So, yeah, I'm very excited to hear her wisdom.
Yeah,
that she has,
and get back into the fellowship with other women and stuff.
Yes, I've missed it so much.
And it's good that we have this separate one and the guys don't. So I feel like perfectly great that I'm sending him on Wednesdays.
Yeah. And I do not regret anything about being part of the youth group. So I don't want anyone to think that. I love the youth group, and that's where God was calling me to be.
Yeah.
Like, so much I turned down being asked to help with younger children.
Yeah.
Which was very hard for me to say no.
Yeah.
So God's growing me in that way. Mm-hmm. Being able to say no to people.
Yeah, that's hard because then you're not only giving your half self to everything, or you're just not even giving anything to your children when you're always like, yes.
Yeah. Which, okay, putting in a plug here, years ago, another Lisa Turkers thing is the best yes is an awesome study. If you're having trouble with your schedule or just life feeling overwhelming in general, is a great one, because
I feel like we should be one of those people that put links at the bottom.
Yes. So it's let your yes be yes and your no be no. Mm-hmm. That's biblical.
Yeah.
And not giving maybes. Yes, sometimes people can wait for your answer.
Yeah, I need to pray about this. That's totally biblical.
Yeah. People can have to wait for your answer, but don't give them a...
Well, maybe.
I could probably do that, or I don't think I can. More like... Let me pray on that.
Hey,
or
I can't
I know
tell
God's
you. I don't
telling
know.
me, because sometimes God does tell us right away.
Yeah, yes, this is what I've already been thinking. I'm so amazing that you told me it. Sometimes I get so overwhelmed by what we're thinking, and then somebody coming to us with the same thing, and it's like, whoa. I know God is the God who created the whole world, and the God who shut the door of the ark and made the animals that came to him. You know what I mean? You think, how did God get the animal? Well, he made the animals, and it's but it sometimes just still overwhelms me that I'm just like a little ant in the world, and here's God moving for me, and it's weird.
Yeah.
It overwhelms me.
It does me too sometimes, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it reminds us of...
It's like we know this biggest celebrity.
Yeah. And have a relationship with him.
The biggest celebrity that's ever existed.
He knows me and I know him.
And he thinks about me. So weird. That's sometimes how it feels.
Yeah. That's too funny. But
I forget. I derailed that. No,
that's okay. I feel like this is our ADD personality.
Yeah.
I've never been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I don't know either. But I was just going to say, it was reminding me of what we talked about at church. Talking about the church sermon, which I wasn't actually at because I was in the nursery, but then I watched it. So I'm trying to... What we just talked about, community group. Yeah.
Oh, about how having memories of...
No.
Well, no, not that one.
Just remembering God's goodness and faithfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, memories. But I didn't say it very well.
Yeah.
The goodness and faithfulness of God. So that's the same thing I've been thinking about a lot, is that pastor I talked about before who has the TikTok. I should really remember his name. I'm horrible at remembering names. I don't know. I'll tell you and you can get hooked up with them because he's awesome. And how he got in the habit. See, that's the thing. A lot of things you can get in the habit of is when he starts his prayers. When he starts his prayers, she's over here taking selfies. I didn't know it was a reel.
Okay, it would be a real time. Actually, I'm late, but I was like, oh, what a good time to do it.
Okay, so anyways.
I was going to look up this TikTok guy for you.
So he gets into the habit, this TikTok guy, that's a preacher, that we're going to find his name because he's really awesome. You should check him out. He got himself in the habit of when he starts to pray is remembering who God is. Because when we go to ask him for things, that's going to increase our faith. And also you're praising him. You're praising God in that and saying, you are this God. You are that God that did this in my life. You are the God who got William through cancer. You're the God who healed my sister from cancer. You're the God who also provides every time. We always have everything we need. You're that God. You're the God, like I said, that created the world. You're this God. You're still that God. When I come to you and ask you for these things, and when I come to you and thank you for these things, you're still that God. Yeah. And it's just really great to be able to remember that at the beginning of your prayer, because God knows that, but he likes to hear them from you. He likes to know that you know that, and it just builds your faith. And we've said it many times, like the only way that Jesus healed anyone in the Bible, if you go look through there, it was your faith, your friend's faith. It was somebody's faith, the father's faith, or...
I have so many verses,
and it's always faith.
I have this app, Keep Notes.
Yeah.
And I have so many verses in there about faith like that.
Yeah. Like the time when that woman grabbed his clothing and he could know all these people were around like Jesus crowding him. And he's like, someone just touched me. The disciples are like, what do you mean someone just touched you? You're in a crowd, Jesus. Like everyone's touching you. And he's like, I felt my power go out of me, like kind of thing. He felt it. You know, and because she had faith that she just touched even the clothing of Jesus, she could be healed. Yeah. And it was her faith that healed her. And he turned around and said that to her. She said, it was I, and I'm so sorry, because she was unclean and shouldn't have touched him. But he said, no, it was your faith. You are healed.
Yeah. Man, is this the one? I think so. Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace.
Yeah. It's your faith.
Yeah.
So when we do that at the beginning of our prayer and we are just telling God who he is, that's just going to increase our faith in God, because that's why it's so important to remember all the things that he's done. Because of course we should go to him because he's already done all these things. You think that he isn't going to be faithful to you now?
Yeah.
Remember? Because I know this really awesome celebrity and he knows me.
Yeah. We have to do something on faith, for sure. But there is this verse in Hebrew, and it is one, when we had a women's Bible study at one point, I just was like, God says, come boldly to me, in all our prayers, not just for healing, but we should always come to God with boldness and belief.
Yeah.
That he can do this and he will do this.
And
not just he can.
it.
We know he can.
Yeah.
He will. Yes. And like you said, trusting. So.
Yeah. And then, not every person who believes in God is going to be cured of cancer.
Right.
But some things are for God's will in a different way. And I went to a marriage retreat recently, and a lady had told me this little insight. Because God did heal her. She's at a funeral, and she swore her friend was going to be healed because she believed it. And that's how she was able to pray for her daughter in faith and have her daughter and her pray to the point where her daughter was younger, but she prayed to the point in her faith where her daughter was healed, where the doctors didn't understand. So she didn't understand how she couldn't pray that same way for her friend. Yeah. And the pastor said to her, she is healed, just not the way that you wanted her to.
And this is what I wanted to say to you. When I was going through my stuff, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I do believe God will heal me and I will be well. But that healing could also come in the form of death on earth.
Yeah, because then you got your own new body and you're no longer in pain. Yeah. And it sounds crazy because it also messes with our human minds in faith. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe God chooses not to heal me, though. And that's that seed of doubt. Yeah. Because you can't think of it like that. Like, God is going to heal me.
He is going
one way or another.
Yep.
And so I think sometimes that messes with me when it comes to faith, is knowing that the healing on this earth isn't always the healing that we're going to receive from our faith. And then as soon as you doubt it, then you're not really having faith. You've little faith.
But he does say faith the size of a mustard seed. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to lie, there were times when I was like, wait, like what I talked about in our podcast before about that 1 week where I was just in such turmoil, like
after the doctors talked to you and said no way.
Well, this is this is like when I had people close to me that and my friend too that were just like not okay with me being okay with death.
I mean, I was okay with it. I just wasn't okay with a world without her.
So you weren't okay with it?
I mean, I was okay with it for you. I was okay with it for you. It was amazing for you. Yeah. But it wasn't amazing for me to be left here without you.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I have like prayed about is like, God, I am so sorry. I was very selfish.
But you wasn't.
Which I should say to you. I feel like I was selfish because what better place to be than heaven?
Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing for you. Like, I was not meaning it to be like that when I said it a second ago.
I feel like I should have approached my words differently sometimes with certain people.
Yeah, but it was amazing to see it was amazing to see your faith and your peace at the same time. And that was your peace. You couldn't care about being here or not. Yeah.
And God grew me so much in that time. And I think that's why when this podcast, it wasn't even this exact idea, but when doing a podcast came to my mind years ago, I would have never been ready for it.
Right. And I was always thinking I was supposed to do some kind of blog or something. Mm-hmm.
But it's like God in his perfect timing brings you to these things. Mm-hmm. So
I feel like it too, because how would we have a podcast teacher at our church?
I know.
I didn't even know she was. And so somebody's like, so hey, I'm a podcast teacher. Like, nah. This is before Christina came to me about this. Like, I'm like, you teach podcasts? Do you have a podcast? She's like, no.
I just teach
She does now. Her and James, my daughter's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Just so cute.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just crazy how God lines things up for you. Like over time, like for you, it's amazing. Like
it really is. Yeah. And that was like, I was listening to podcasts at the time. Mm-hmm. I was working in the factory in the office, constantly listening to podcasts and music. Mm-hmm. And
I guess I kind of did listen to podcasts, even though I didn't, because I would listen to the YouVersion videos. Which are podcasts.
Yeah.
And not even videos. Sometimes they were just like the drawings of like the Bible project.
Oh.
Or like where they're just talking.
Yeah.
And there would be no video.
Right. That's a podcast.
It's podcast. I know. I know that.
That's funny.
It's just funny because I never thought of it as I listen to podcasts. I watch videos. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. And it's good. And I don't want people to think that and I don't want you to take our podcast and just use it to fill you up.
No. And let it get speak to you in whichever
God
way
speak to
God's
you.
speaking
Yeah.
to you. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, is that the Holy Spirit will just always talk through us,
Mm-hmm.
get us out of the way, as they say, and just be what someone needs to hear.
Yeah. And man, the Holy Spirit does that for us, I think, every time we record.
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll start off like,
Every time. We don't know what we're going to do. We feel like such amateurs. Like, how are we even going to get this accomplished?
yeah, even when it is planned out, this is what we're talking about. These are our points.
And then we start hearing lies from the devil.
Yes.
And then it's just like we have to shake it off and just trust.
Yeah. And I feel like it's taken us longer than we wanted to get everything going. But
I think we
again,
needed
it's
to
in
learn
God's
things
time.
along the way
Mhm.
before we were just like, this is live. You know what I mean? So I think it's good that it's taken time because it's
Yeah.
growing us.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that a million people are going to hear this. Maybe it's just for one person that we're
Right.
doing all this. Who knows?
Yeah.
One person needed to hear something, or who knows?
Or even just one person to be saved.
Saved. Oh, I know, that would be amazing.
It would.
But I mean, and it's not for us. That's God's glory. God put this all and called us to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for a long time, I thought, well, what is God calling me for? Like, it doesn't have to be something huge. It could be just
Yeah.
caring for your child. Like, that's what God's calling you to do, is to be the light of Jesus to your
Yeah.
child. Like, that's a big deal.
And to remember, too, that sometimes God calls you to something in one season of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you're not supposed to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And he's calling you to something different.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like he calls you to more than one thing at a time.
Yeah. Oh, you're getting
So, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But-
Like, I felt called home. Like, where
Mhm.
I'm at is supposed to be with my kids. And
Yeah.
I just always think of that song about sweeping up Cheerios for the 15th time today. Like,
yeah.
I'll literally say, sweeping up Cheerios for the 15th time today. It's for you, God. Like, yeah. Like,
yeah. Well, and there are so many things. Like, when you get called to something, it's not the easier path usually.
no.
It's
It
the
really
harder
isn't.
one. Like, doing this podcast, I had the thought the other day. It was like, it would just be so much easier just not to do it.
And it's almost like attacking our marriages and everything.
It is.
It's just like, because as soon as the devil sees you're going to do something, because the devil knows that we've already been won, but
Mhm.
what are we about to do for God's plan? And he does not want us to do it.
Mhm.
And that's how you know you're on the right path. I
Yeah,
feel
so
like.
keep pushing.
Yeah.
No matter how hard it is, no matter how much you think you can't do it.
Yeah, if you felt the pull and you keep feeling like, if I don't do this, I feel like I'm not obeying God, that's the devil. All the obstacles is the devil.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn a lot through it, because God uses all things for his, work and his glory. So it's like, just keep going.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to?
Sure.
Okay. Dear God, just thank you for this day and just keeping us in your will, and help us to be obedient to you, just like we were just talking about. And anyone out there who just does not know what their calling is for your life, just hopefully we were able to speak some truth to them today,
Yes.
with your words. And Lord, just lead us all to be better servants to our family, and just show us how to be loving to our spouses and our children, even when it's hard to do, and even when it feels awkward, and just to do the same for others outside of our home. And Lord, if there's anyone out there who is just feeling a pull to you, that you're calling out to them, Lord, just help them to reach out to you,
Yes.
to a friend who knows you. And Lord, just help them to not pull away, but just to accept it. In Jesus' name, amen.
This has been Christians in the Gritty. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Christina.
Thanks for listening.